Hey guys, my name is Nora Franche, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day. I really do. Let me know if you are, and let me know if you're not. And maybe we can make each other smile. We are reading from A Day at a Time, April 12th. If we attempt to understand rather than to be understood, we can more quickly assure a newcomer that we have no desire to convince anyone that there is only one way by which faith can be acquired. All of us, whatever our race, creed, color, or ethnic heritage, are connected to a higher power with whom we may form a relationship upon simple and understandable terms, as soon as we are willing and honest enough to try. Do I know the difference between sympathy and empathy? Can I put myself in the newcomer's shoes? Today I pray. May I love all humanity as children of a living power. May I respect the different ways through which we all find and worship a higher power. May I never be so rigid as to discount another's faith, or so insensitive that I use the fellowship of the group as a preaching ground to extol my beliefs as the one and only way. I can only know what works for me. Today I will remember, we are all children of something bigger and greater than ourselves. So I don't know about you, but this piece here at the very beginning, the first line, if we attempt to understand rather than to be understood, it reminds me of the St. Francis prayer, the step 11 prayer. And I don't know if you've ever said it, but it's a beautiful prayer, but one that can be kind of hard to choke down sometimes because you're like, oh, no, but I want to be loved. And so I just want to read it to you right now so you can kind of hear the words and just take it in for yourself, whether it's new or whether it's the millionth time you've heard it. Just listen and see what jumps out at you. Here we go. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. So I wonder, what line stuck out to you the most? Or what felt like a gut punch to you the most? I like to think about this at the very beginning, like they're countering like the good with the bad, or the bad to the good. So hatred and love, injury and pardon, doubt and faith, despair, hope, darkness, light, sadness, joy. It's helped me now knowing like the things I've learned in the last year with coaching and everything, that I can actually, and I learned this in program too. It just, coaching just like really hammered home a lot of things that program had planted the seeds for. And it was that when I'm noticing I'm in a certain thing, I can pray for whatever the counter thing of that is. So if I'm feeling hatred in my heart, I can ask my higher power to teach me to love, to help me to love. If I am feeling hurt from an injury, I can ask for the grace to pardon that person. And I have a really favorite forgiveness prayer that I could share with you sometime, or reach out to me individually if you're interested for it, or maybe I could post it in the Facebook group, whatever. It's really awesome, and I need to say it more than I do, and I love it. Okay, so if I'm in despair, I can pray for hope. And if I'm in darkness, I can pray for light. And if I'm in sadness, I can pray for joy. And that's really helpful for me to know, because then at least instead of just being like, everything feels so dark. Like instead of just like, because I'll tend to focus on it. If I'm noticing something's off, I'm like, I'm off. Why am I off? This feels terrible. Like I am so off. Like, this is gonna be such a hard day. Or of course that happened. Like it's a super off day. I just do that. If you do it too, like I know you get me. And so it's really helpful for me to then when I hear myself saying like I'm just so down, like I'm just so sad, I'm like, okay, higher power, I need you today. Help me to have joy. Or like share with me a little bit of your joy. Or I'll even text my sponsor, or text a fellow and he'd be like, can you just give me a little bit of your joy today? Because I'm like in the negative bucket right now. And I'm going to have to borrow some so that I can level out, because it's really hard for me to move my feet right now. We do that. We get to do that in program. We get to borrow people's joy and light and faith and hope and love. We get to do that. It's a beauty of the program. And the other part of this prayer is asking, like that first line of this reflection said, it is that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, that we can be the one doing the hard thing first, that we can seek to understand rather than to be understood. I get so defensive so fast and immediately want to explain myself so that I feel understood, instead of trying to understand maybe why the other person responded that way or was that way. And then to love instead of seeking always to be loved. Because I'm like a little child at heart. I am just like, do you love me? Do you love me? Like, tell me I'm lovable. Tell me you're not rejecting me. And I think what I'm recognizing is that is the cry of someone who does not know that they are loved by their higher power. That is the cry of someone who does not know that there is nothing they can do or not do that bars them from that love. And so I can recognize that. And when I do, then I'm able to start loving on other people, because I know that I've been loved first from my higher power. So that's really cool. And we can do a whole workshop on this step 11 prayer. I think that would be really interesting. But for now, I'm going to keep going. And I just want to say that the last thing that I want to comment on here is that they talk about how we get to have a relationship with a higher power upon simple and understandable terms. And that is just so stinking important, because if we're trying to do something complicated or really intellectual, it's a higher power that we can't connect to in the nitty-gritty, in the throes of our disease, and when we're really struggling or down, because then it's usually something that's kind of inaccessible. So whatever is accessible to you I encourage you, that is the place to start. So something that has helped me is to make my higher power maybe just a little bit more human, someone who also has felt the struggle of what it is to struggle. And so I encourage you to do that and see if that helps. Like something that I have thought of along the way is like, if my stomach hurts, I'm like, I bet you knew what it was like for your stomach to hurt. I don't know. Something where, or like if somebody else's, if the higher power for you is the group, you can know, like, you know my pain. You know my pain, and I see you laughing. And so, maybe one day I can be someone who is laughing too. Or maybe, just borrowing that their higher power doesn't seem really distant and untouchable. Their higher power is like a buddy, like sitting next to them in the chairs. So maybe just for today, I can borrow that person's higher power. I can have a higher power who just is one who's sitting next to me in the chairs and walking this walk with me. And maybe that'll make it more relatable to you, maybe more simple and understandable. But it's something to keep working at. If you're not there yet, just keep at it. The chips will fall away and the image will appear. It works if you work it. and work it because you're worth it. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.